Well, hello, beautiful people. How are we doing today? We are back at it once again with the book 3 Feet from Gold by Sharon Lechter and Greg Reid. And I know yesterday we had a little bit of time to go over just talking in general, and they were talking about network marketing, and I got on the subject of Elon Musk. And wow, I did not realize how divided and people really are when it comes to Elon Musk right now. Just so you guys understand, like I've been following this guy since 2014. So the whole political thing, uh it's a little bit out of my understanding and spectrum. I'm just, saying, hey, he's a great person from, him being able to create these fascinating businesses. So again, I'm not choosing a political side. Understand, I'm independent. And if anything, I've always known Elon to be independent, and he's never really even took a political stance from that standpoint. And if you guys really want to know, and I recommend you guys really do research, because it seemed like a few of you guys were kind of really um maybe just frustrated, with the whole political thing. For me, and it's important, especially when you guys are doing this work, to not let outside influence affect you, right? All of these things, the political system, the news, this is why I don't watch the news. They're all there to, keep you separate, to keep us separate, right? Because it's strength in numbers. The more we have, the more we're coming together besides our differences, the more we create synergy. And this is always important. And again, I'm not going to just blindly trust anybody, and I don't even trust Elon. Let's just get that clear, right? He's a great person, but I'm not going to blindly trust anything that he says and does. But there's just, at this point, there's nobody else doing what he's doing, if he's even doing it at all. I mean, he's got great people around him. I don't know, right? I am enjoying the technology, the products themselves, and I am embracing the idea of a future, because I would like to see a vision outside of the world. Going into space, expanding our universe, expanding our consciousness. So all of those things are possible, especially when you have a company like, SpaceX. So, but my point is that if you're, and I'm not saying anybody was, but if there is like some sort of anger or animosity towards an individual or towards a political figure, which he's not, but I mean, just in general, you got to learn to let that go, right? Because that kind of stuff is what keeps you from connecting to you, to connecting to yourself, to understanding your greatness and your power, right? So when people are out there literally fighting, vandalizing, creating all this violence over a situation that is out of their control to begin with, you're just taking away from yourself. And I think it's just very important, you know, um, to maintain a neutralness, right? Yeah, there. I think I did a video on this, and it's just, name one thing out there that 100% of people actually like. There isn't. It doesn't exist, right? There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like something. McDonald's, okay, Walmart, Amazon, right? Most people probably use Amazon, but I'm sure there's a few of you who don't use Amazon, and that's okay, right? Because it's a Tesla, right? And I mean, there's a bigger divide there than ever before, which is crazy, and I'm okay with that. I'm not, listen, people have their own choices, their own decisions, and that's fine, but you don't want to make it because you've been influenced by politics, okay, or by the news, because all those things are set up, made for an agenda, manipulate you, okay. And there's a lot of things that are happening that we don't even understand. But what you can control is you, in the situation, and what you bring. And as long as you bring this positive outlook and light to the world, that's all that matters, because then you're going to see more good things happening to you, and more good things happening, right? And this whole idea that we live in this simulation, it's you pushed out. You are creating your own reality. So if there is anger or hate towards a certain person or any individual, you got to let it go. So I just wanted to share that because I was a little taken aback by when I did mention, Elon Musk and how I have a fascination with him, and again, his business, right? Uh, because there's a lot of great things that he's done. There's a lot of great things that Trump has done. There's a lot of great things that all political people in general have done when they do. But understand, I mean, if you want to understand why something is the way it is, you got to follow the money, and you got to be neutral, independent. There's a reason why there's only two parties, because the third party, the one in the middle, the one in the middle, um, that's the one that everybody would be gravitating to. So you see what I'm saying? Like you got one extreme to the other, but where we want to be is in the middle. But they don't talk about the middle, because the middle is where we would be creating synergy. When we're here and one side's here and one side's here, you're divided, and then you're easily controlled and manipulated. So hope you guys understand that. Let's go ahead and get into chapter 18 here. It's going to be another short chapter, so let's go ahead and get right into that. So here we go.
All thoughts which have been emotionalized and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. Chapter 18. The Courage to Succeed. After what could be the shortest taxi trip of his career, a mere 8 blocks, he arrived at the small hotel near the airport in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was set to meet with his next interview before heading back home. Just as he was getting out of the taxi, his cell phone rang. "It's me," a cheerful female voice chirped through the receiver. "I'm in the lobby and ready when you are." Right away, he could sense that this encounter would be special. He had never even spoken with this person before, and already she was saying, "It's me." Genevieve Boss was the creator and founder of a magazine called Pink, which was developed for female leaders. Whereas most business publications focused on things primarily from a male perspective, she wanted to break the mold and provide a new voice for today's generation of women. As she approached him in the lobby, Greg shook her hand and said, "Hi, Genevieve. Thanks for meeting me." "No problem. Wouldn't miss it for anything," she responded. "In fact, of all the interviews I've been part of over the years, this is the one I've been most excited to participate in. I read Think and Grow Rich when I was only 16 years old, and it changed my life. If you're working with the Napoleon Hill Foundation on this, I knew that I had to be a part of it." "Yes, and my co-author is a fan of yours in return. In fact, she has written for your magazine, Sharon Lechter," Greg said. "Excellent! I wanted to meet Sharon," she exclaimed, so loud, in fact, that Greg couldn't help but look around the lobby to see who else might have heard her. "Her work with the Rich Dad series was incredible. Besides that, her new Pay Your Family First and Youthpreneur projects are going to really help people change the way they look at their finances." "Here, let me get her on the line then," Greg offered as he pulled out his ubiquitous phone and hit speed dial and then the loudspeaker button. "Sharon, it's me. I've got someone with me I think you should meet." Knowing that he'd been scheduled to meet with Boss, Sharon said immediately, "Genevieve, it's a pleasure to meet you, albeit on the telephone." What was only 7 minutes or so seemed like an eternity to Greg as the two talked like old high school friends on the cheerleading squad. While holding the phone, he became tired of extending his arm as the two women continued their conversation. "Hey, I'm here too, remember?" the phone jockey said, interrupting their dialogue about the importance of teaching financial literacy in the schools. "I'm sorry," Sharon said. "Let's get down to business then, shall we? Tell us, Genevieve, how did you get your start?" "My lessons came early, let me tell you. It all began years back in the software industry. I worked with a little startup business like most people did in those days. And like many new ventures, we needed capital. Though most people were doing anything and everything to make a buck, I had my first aha moment by looking at things from a different angle." From the phone's loudspeaker, Sharon asked, "What do you mean?" "All the other companies were cutting their prices by offering deep discounts to try to outwit the competition. They were all competing in the same sandbox, so to speak, slashing profits to gain sales from the same pool of customers. As common sense would tell you, their margins got smaller and smaller by the minute." "Oh, what else could you do?" Greg asked. "I decided instead to look outside my own backyard. You see, nobody was selling our product in the foreign market. So I spent all my time setting up vendors that would pay us for the rights to market our goods in their countries. This turned out to be great. Where others were slashing their profits, or even worse, selling out to venture capitalists, we just sold the rights, not the company. This gave us the leverage we needed to keep growing while capturing the global market at the same time. When the others caught on to what we were doing, it was too late. We had already cornered the industry. That's terrific, Sharon said. Let me ask you something. This project we're working on is all about overcoming challenges. How have you conquered your fears on the way to success? Great question, Boss responded. I always ask one simple question. Well, two, really. What's the worst that can come from this? And can I handle that worst case scenario? If I can live with the answer, I'll go for it. Greg was smiling from ear to ear, as anyone within eyeshot could see. He fumbled for his notepad to write down what she had just said. What's the worst that can happen? Can I handle that? If the answer is yes, then do it. Setting his notes aside, he asked, where did the idea for Pink magazine come from? Pausing for a moment, Boss assumed an expression of deep thought before she replied. The media has great power, both for good and, well, not so much good. It seemed then that most magazines out there that were targeted toward women were what the trades call trash, the ones that are filled with gossip and rumor. I wanted to break that image and shatter that mirror. Mirror? Sharon's long-distance voice inquired. Yes, a mentor of mine once said that we all carry our own mirrors with us. It's how we see ourselves in these reflections that the world sees us in return. So I wanted to shatter the way women were being portrayed in real life. From newsstand print, it appeared that we were only capable of picking out fashion and knowing what a celebrity child ate at daycare. It's ridiculous. I thought, why is it that most magazines at the checkout register only talk about cheating husbands and what's the hot color for fall? Does that mean I shouldn't ask you what you think about my new shirt? Greg asked. It's nice, Boss answered without missing a beat. That is my point. Women are capable of becoming more than just administrative assistants and receptionists. I wanted to insist that women can have the whole package, a feminine side, while being a force to reckon with in the workplace. We don't have to lose our feminine energy in order to compete with the boys. Back to challenges, Greg interjected, realizing that Boss had more to offer than he had expected. Did you have challenges during your climb to the top? Of course, we all do, she said in a matter-of-fact tone. Sensing another piece of great wisdom coming, Greg reached for his pad once more and wrote what she said next. The secret is, never let mistakes define who you are. We all have setbacks and roadblocks in life, yet for some reason, women tend to take them more personally than men. If a guy loses $20 million, he says, hey, it was an expensive lesson. Where's my bonus? When a woman loses $20 million, she tends to carry it around like a bad piece of luggage. We just need to let it go and learn from it then, Sharon asked. Absolutely, Boss stated. Learn from it and move on, assuming you did everything you could to make it right. It's the only way to move forward. One of my other favorite life-changing books is The Power of Decision by Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. In it, he says, not making a decision is a decision to fail or to live a law of averages. Immediately, Sharon asked another question. How do adjustments play a role in your world? I mean, does your game plan change? It sure does. The same goes for anything in life. I look at it as one big Rubik's Cube. Keep twisting it until you get the combination you're looking for. Appreciative of all her responses, Greg ended the conversation with a deeper last question for Genevieve Boss. How does faith play a role in your life? To this question, there was no rapid retort, no cute anecdote. Rather, Boss gave a reply that had similarly resonated throughout all the other great interviews. Faith is everything. The amount of faith or lack thereof dictates the difference between success and failure. It is that simple. Once you have tapped into faith, you'll find the strength to make all things possible.
Wow. Love that. Love it. Oh my gosh. So good. So much good stuff here. Genevieve was amazing. There's some great stuff in there. And I think that it also gives a great perspective on again that female energy, and that balance. And if you notice, it kind of coincided to what we were talking about here, right? Where she's just very neutral, not letting anything affect her, right? Even from the perceived perceptions of what people might be saying about other women, and just her tapping into her feminine, right? And she didn't get mad at it. She wasn't upset. It was just, hey, this is just the way that life is. And she still was able to make a living and a fortune, and none of that stuff has phased her. And she's even talked about, like, it doesn't even phase her. So this is what I'm saying. Like, when you feel compelled, and you're so emotional about a situation, and you feel the need to have to always be right, or to prove somebody wrong, just let it go. There's no need for it. People have their opinions, and that's all that it is. And sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree, but it's okay. You guys can still coexist together. But when you're angry towards somebody, there is no coming together, right? And you're just holding on to that one thing that that person has an issue with you with, and that's now defined whether or not you can connect with that person. And we just don't need that. We are going to have differences. Not everybody's going to agree. Everybody's going to agree on this channel. Everybody's going to agree on anything. Because again, there's not 100% that anything that people just like, right? There are going to be people that don't like you, don't like the situation, whatever. But like, it doesn't have to define that. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to define that friendship. And that's what's most important. So, hope you guys understood that. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. These have been some great chapters. These next 3 chapters are going to be very long, so there's not going to be a whole lot of discussion, but I'm going to do a whole video after, when everything is done, so then we can discuss, and definitely give me your feedback. I love to hear it, you guys, and I love all the support, and I love all you guys, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this channel. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss any of this great content. And if this is resonating with you, pass it on to a friend, because this is how the channel grows, and it really does help. So I really appreciate all the love and support. And until next time, you guys make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.